One of the common themes of our Christian tradition is a meal around a table. And the best of our tradition assumes that everybody's invited. No one should be left out. No one should be hungry. No one should be excluded. The logic of the spiritual life is it always becomes more inclusive, more invitations extended to be a part of our life. In many ways, the great hope of our faith tradition, the hope of just faith, is that by virtue of having been through the process, that banquet table gets bigger. More people at it, more people sharing, more people being shared with, community.
Just faith. What is it? Where did it come from? Just Faith was created in 1989 by Jack Jezreel in Louisville, Kentucky. He was looking for a way to share the spirit he found at the heart of the gospel message. Over the years, many thousands of people have responded, and now Just Faith groups can be found throughout the United States. The format and inspiration of the Just Faith program today is much the same as it was with those first groups.
The Just Faith program is about 30 weeks. We generally would meet each week, sort of following a semester or a college program, start in September, go to Christmas, start again after the first of the year, and go until April or May.
It requires a deep commitment.
There's videos, there's books to read, there's discussions all about what justice is about, and faith. Faith intersects with justice.
The mission of Just Faith is to expand knowledge of the need in the world.
We'd have an opening retreat, a closing retreat.
It's a bonding and sharing experience so that the group forms some trust among each other.
And then we'd have 4 what we call border crossing experiences, which are Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon opportunities to sort of move out of our comfort zone. Maybe go to a homeless shelter, but not just to help serve a meal or to take some clothing, but to sit down and meet with people.
Just faith, justice and faith together.
Participants can explore this call to do justice in a way that's lively and interesting and compelling and ultimately life-changing.
It is absolutely a process of transformation, and that happens not necessarily because of the readings you do or the videos that you watch, but because of the discussions that you have, the prayer experience. I think some of the spiritual exercises too that you go through, it just gives you a different lens with which to look at the world.
What Just Faith tries to do is to try to give people a glimpse into what the world really looks like, as difficult as that might be. And along the way, not only dwell on the hardship, but also speak to what are the solutions to this reality? And ultimately, at the end of the day, how do we celebrate the choices necessary to make this different?
One question we often hear is who should take Just Faith? Whom is it meant for?
Just Faith attracts people from a broad spectrum of life. We have people as young as 20 years old and people as old as 97 who have gone through the program. We have nearly as many men as women go through the program. We have people in rural places and urban places. We have people of many different ethnic backgrounds. And so Just Faith has been kind of a melting pot of possibilities.
Just Faith is a rigorous program, and for most people, that is something they're interested in. It's like they're ready to be challenged.
I work at least 40 hours a week and play soccer and coach soccer and hang out with friends and still have time to do Just Faith.
People were drawn in from several different faith communities across the city, crossed all boundaries economically. It made for good sharing.
My philosophies of doing things were a bit different than others in the group, and it came from my background as someone who had graduated from college and had gotten involved in management and had worked in management and higher level positions for the rest of my career. So I had a different take.
I think that being younger, I added a new angle and a new perspective to our group.
I think I considered myself somewhat of a political activist before I started Just Faith. What we were seeking in Just Faith is a spiritual element to what we were doing.
We were all different, but deep down from a Christian standpoint, we had the same ideals. There was a difference in how we got there.
I think one of the best things about Just Faith is that it meets people where they are.
I think Just Faith is for anyone that's serious about making a difference in the world. Anybody that's serious about really living their faith.
One of the things that I've learned is that it's never too early to start caring about what goes on in our community.
I think if a couple is considering Just Faith, they need to talk it over and get on board, but I'd say go for it.
And the nice thing about Just Faith as a couple is we get all the same information. Now, it may not apply to each one of us the same way, but we have all the same information, we have the same vocabulary, we have a lot of the same experiences, and then we can decide how to incorporate those ideas into our couple life, our home life, as well as our personal lives.
We were at the stage where our youngest was in high school, and we were kind of thinking about what it was going to be like when she left, what we wanted out of life after then, and Just Faith was a perfect answer for that. It's a nice feeling at this time of life.
It's universal. The themes are universal, and the things that we talk to apply to people who are 18, people who are 10, people who are 40, people who are 80, and it's geared towards everyone.
If you are someone who's willing to open up your heart, then you are ready for Just Faith.
The call of Just Faith is not that people become the next Dorothy Day or Mother Teresa. The call of Just Faith is that each one of us becomes who we are supposed to become, that, if you will, John Smith becomes John Smith with all the gifts that God has given John Smith to become fully and completely who he's supposed to be.
There's another question we hear a lot. Is Just Faith going to change me?
The hope of Just Faith is that by the end of the process, people experience some kind of change. And that as a consequence of what they've experienced, they are compelled to get engaged in ways that perhaps they've never been engaged before.